I just saw an outrageous body cam that I have got to shoot spitballs at and make fun of. It's an officer performing a traffic stop and then conducting the stupidest investigation I have ever seen. And he does it all unapologetically with full confidence. It's actually shocking. You couldn't script a bigger buffoon than this guy. It's like if you played L.A. Noire and just chose all of the wrong options on purpose. He does that accidentally with his questioning. It's like Steve Martin in Pink Panther when he played Inspector Clouseau. But unlike Inspector Clouseau, this guy doesn't stumble into getting anything right. He doesn't even accidentally go down anything sensible for his investigation.
I was at my house, I got some lunch, and then I'm heading back to my house.
Oh, where'd you get lunch?
Burger King.
Did you have your license on? Going to get breakfast. It's 12:50 in the afternoon. So you came all the way down to Haledon to get some breakfast?
It's the closest Burger King.
So when he's first talking to the guy, he mentions that he went to get lunch at Burger King. When the officer goes back to his car, his curiosity is piqued. He is getting very suspicious because he thinks the guy said that he went to get breakfast. And he's like, well, it's a little late in the day for breakfast. 12:50? You're getting breakfast? He's lying to me for some reason. What's he hiding? Even though he never said breakfast, he said lunch. The officer himself in the first interaction even repeats lunch back to the guy.
I was at my house, I got some lunch, and then I'm heading back to my house.
Oh, where'd you get lunch?
Burger King.
He literally asks, where'd you get lunch? But by the time he walks back to his patrol car, he's like neuralized himself like the Men in Black or something and rewrote that memory with the word breakfast in his noodle. So now all of a sudden he thinks that this guy is lying to try and cover something up, and he's about to blow this way out of proportion and make a big deal about it for nothing, making him go through like this whole song and dance interrogation all over him misremembering the word he said. Like, he didn't even mishear it, by the way. He literally like heard lunch, repeated lunch, but then forgot that when he got back to the car and made something up in his mind.
Would you DoorDash it or something?
I picked it up.
Oh, you went through the drive-thru?
Yeah.
Who's like, you said that correctly? Went down and went through the drive-thru. I saw you go down, you came back pretty quickly. So you were able to get down to the drive-thru that fast?
Yeah, there's no one in the line.
Gotcha. Is there anything, any kind of narcotics or anything in the vehicle? You said you went down and picked up breakfast.
It's not breakfast, lunch.
You said breakfast to me.
I was at my house, I got some lunch, and then I'm heading back to my house. That's it, breakfast and lunch. It's a burger.
This officer really thinks he's fucking L from Death Note here or something. This line of questioning is already baffling. Oh, so you came back pretty quick. You were able to get your Burger King that easily? What about all 10,000 people that were lining up to get Burger King today? Today's National Burger King Day. How'd you get through the line that quickly, huh, Buster? Huh? It's fucking Burger King, man. Of course there's not going to really be a long line. No one's really going to Burger King. Like, he was probably their first customer of the day at 12:50. What is he even thinking is happening? Like, what does he think he's cooking with this questioning? It's going nowhere. He didn't lie to the officer or anything. He didn't even use the wrong nomenclature for his meal. He said lunch. Like, he didn't do anything that should even be arousing suspicion in the first place. But now this officer, like, he's smelling blood in the water. He thinks he's on to like a big break here. He's gonna find fucking 2,000 pounds worth of cocaine and fent buried somewhere in the back seat of his cushions, you know, on the headrest or something. Like, it's so wacky. And he doesn't let it go. He keeps pressing it like there's really something deep here. Why did you tell me breakfast? He's now just gaslighting this guy saying, you told me breakfast. And the guy's like, oh, I didn't think I did. Like, I didn't mean to. I meant lunch. If I told you breakfast, I meant lunch. Sorry. Like, it's a pretty small mistake to make, even if that was the mistake that was made. Which it wasn't. There wasn't even a mistake made there in the first place. But even if there was, it's just so trivial.
I mean, a burger can be a breakfast food.
It's 12:50.
Narcotics canine.
Okay, so I meant lunch.
Okay, so you had 2 eggs for breakfast, but you said that you had low blood sugar from not eating.
Yeah, it's not a lot of food.
It takes a long time of not eating to get low blood sugar.
I don't know what to tell you.
You can see that the guy is getting annoyed here. He's like, I don't know what to tell you, man, because now all of a sudden the officer is cosplaying as a nutritionist. Like, you mentioned you had low blood sugar, yet contradictory to what you said earlier, where you mentioned you had 2 eggs for breakfast. You know it takes a long time of not eating to have low blood sugar, don't you? Is there something you want to tell me? Huh? You scum? You heinous, vile creature, you, lying about breakfast when it is clearly lunchtime. Didn't realize this cop also watched Grey's Anatomy, so now all of a sudden he's an expert on medical diagnoses. Brother, you don't know his medical history. He could very easily have conditions that could lead to, like, low blood sugar and shit. Like, there's just so many things you couldn't possibly make an accurate assumption on that at all, and you shouldn't even be trying. Like, Jesus, man, 2 eggs is not a big breakfast. He probably got hungry again at 12:50. Like, it's super normal. 2 eggs is like 150 calories depending on the size of the egg. I'm assuming hard-boiled egg. Like, maybe he had 2 scrambled eggs. Even still, it's not a huge meal. He probably had a rumbly tummy and then went to Burger King. There's nothing suspicious about anything this guy has said in regards to getting lunch after eating a small breakfast. I don't know why we are pressing this so hard. If anything, you might as well just question why he went to Burger King. That's like the only somewhat suspicious decision here. Why the fuck would you go to Burger King over any other fast food restaurant? Like, maybe that's the question he should be asking the guy.
But do you see why, like, it's
Honestly, no, I don't.
It's just not adding up to me.
That I went to get lunch, and I'm driving back home.
No, you told me you went to get breakfast.
Okay,
It's 12:50 in the afternoon.
I meant lunch.
Okay, if there's nothing going on, you'll be on your way.
I know, I'm pretty confident that's going to be the case. You wanted me to get out of the car because I said breakfast instead of lunch, and you said my hand was shaking.
You can open request the body cam footage, sir.
I'm so glad we have this body camera footage here to capture this beautiful moment. The officer really thinks he has nailed this guy dead to rights, and he is on the cusp of something huge. He thinks he's in like some kind of fucking AMC production here where he's gonna find the blue meth in this guy's car, all because the criminal mastermind slipped up and said breakfast instead of lunch, even though that didn't even happen, by the way. Oh my god, it's absolute fucking cinema.
You should know what's going on in the motor vehicle stop at this time.
Okay, I think I just summed it up. So it sounds
Well, you skipped a lot on your recording. You're missing a lot of information.
All right, so tell me what I said.
You're not going to narrate what's going on here.
Right, then
Okay, I have a body camera that's going to do that for everyone. I don't know what time or how long the canine's going to take, so you're right. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Okay, I'm just going to give you the summons for improper signal, and we're going to be on our way.
So it seems like it was an improper signal which led to this traffic stop and this investigation into the Schrodinger's breakfast meal at Burger King. I think what probably happened here, it's not on body cam, but if I had to take a guess, I think one of his other officers there was like, "Look, man, we're not going to get the canine out here for this. This is a crazy reach that you're working with right now. Like, I think just maybe send him on his way with the improper signal summons and like call it there. Like, this is kind of dumb." And then the officer's like, "Okay, well, listen here, bud. I know you haven't been truthful with me. That things aren't adding up, but not going to waste any more time here." And then just ends it like that. The guy started recording from his end and gave like the lore breakdown. And he didn't skip anything from what I can see here. The officer's like, no, you're missing crucial context. Information is absent. You're trying to spin a far-fetched fictional narrative. That's not what happened here at all. This body cam will explain everything. And trust me, it did. Holy shit. What a stupid idea. Like, I don't know. I literally cannot wrap my head around what he thought was going to happen with this line of questioning. Like, I think maybe in his like fanfic that he was cooking up in his brain, he would like press him on the breakfast statement, which again wasn't even made in the first place, but he would press him on the breakfast statement, and all of a sudden the guy would break down and be like, "Oh my god, you're right. You're fucking right. There's so many drugs in the car, man. Oh my god, I can't believe it. You did it. You were right. You were right. Oh my god, you're so smart." Like, I actually just I can't imagine what he thought would happen by making a huge hoopla out of something that wasn't even said. I just had to talk about this. It was so good. I'm glad that this guy didn't, suffer more of a headache and more of a nuisance with this officer's questioning. I'm glad that at least they did send him on his way and didn't, make it go even more out of control. But man, what a fucking waste of everyone's time this was. That's really about it. So yeah. Did you see about the police officer that drove into a restaurant and arrested the owner? He crashed his car through the restaurant? 2 videos, lots of questions after police SUV crashes into St. Louis bar. Owner arrested. Man, what? You're under arrest for putting this restaurant in the front of my SUV cruiser. You're in violation. Sounds like a Looney Tunes trap, like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, where they paint like a tunnel on a wall and then just crash into it. 2 videos shared on Tuesday by an attorney for a South St. Louis bar owner show a police SUV crashing into the bar, and part of the aftermath that led to the bar owner being arrested on charges of assault and resisting arrest. Oh, so the charges were separate from the crash. So this guy was just scooting in sideways like an action movie scene. The videos clear up some questions about what happened early Monday outside of the bar. Bar PM, popular gay bar in the city's Carondale neighborhood. I'm sure I butchered that name. But they produced several more. The bar's co-owner, Chad Morris, was charged with third-degree assault and misdemeanor resisting arrest after the crash. Police claimed he pushed an officer and ran from them. Let's see what the footage... Oh my god. It is impossible to use the internet without an ad block these days, but I can't go on these websites with one on anymore. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright. He didn't even really... Man. I can't even rewind the video because I'm getting another ad. He didn't even get far into the restaurant. This is like an advertisement for whoever makes that door threshold, like the door frame. Fucking blocked a full-speed police SUV. He bounced off of it. What is that made out of? Titanium? Adamantium? Like, look at this. It actually bounces the SUV back instead of crashing through the glass. That's impressive engineering. What a good build. So did the officer explain why he tried to crash through the front of the restaurant? Because at first I thought it'd be an accident, but this is clearly deliberate. He made no attempt to slow down or anything, really, it doesn't seem like. He just zooms through like it's GTA Online. It's insane the car is flying, Cazelli said on Tuesday. If I did this, I would be cited. It's unclear why the SUV swerved. James Pence, Morris' husband and another co-owner of the bar, said police initially told him they had to swerve to miss a dog. Officers later recanted and said they swerved to miss a parked car, the same explanation that police gave reporters. This parked car? Brother, I got news for you. If you have to swerve to miss this parked car, you shouldn't be behind the wheel. It's a parked car on a road with literally nothing on it. This is like the road outside of Courage the Cowardly Dog's house. There is nothing here. So if you had to swerve to miss this, you're either drunk driving or a terrible driver. He's a hero, don't you get it? True, I guess. I didn't even think of that. This is quite the stunt. Though I guess he's already out of control. Like, for some reason, it looks like he's already lost control of the vehicle, because he is kind of beelining towards that car, so maybe he really did swerve to miss it. I don't know why he tried to throw in a dog excuse. But why is he already losing control of his vehicle? Police did not respond to multiple requests for more information about the incident and Cazelli's accusations. They denied a sunshine request for dashcam footage of the incident, citing an active investigation. Man, that dashcam's gonna go hard. This is the aftermath. Looks like all of the framing's made out of wood. That's some strong wood. Mahogany, no doubt. The door didn't even budge. Didn't even make it to the door. This fine hard wood stopped it. Didn't even break the glass on it. I read a bit further about this after stream just because I was extremely curious as to how the officers would explain crashing into the bar like this. Like it's some kind of Dukes of Hazzard moment. And there still isn't any real answers.
Mike and Kelly, we still really don't have many answers from police, and the bar owners say this was really scary for them. Their friends, however, have been very supportive, and tonight they supported them in the best way they knew how, which meant opening the bar, damages and all.
A power move reopening the bar in the condition that it's in. It's going to look like a bar out of the Fallout universe, but hats off to them for it. Now, initially they claimed that they arrested one of the owners after blasting through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man because it was a situation where the owner was resisting arrest. The officer claimed that he had been struck by the owner, which caused him to be off balance, which gave him probable cause to arrest the owner.
Surveillance video shows a St. Louis police vehicle crashing into the front of the bar.
I was loud. I was very vocal. But I never did anything to make any officer feel like I was trying to harm them or anything. I wanted to know why there was a police vehicle sitting in my building.
Which I think is a pretty reasonable response given the situation. They apparently live above the bar, which means they would have heard this happen, and they probably assume they got hit by a fucking missile. So I think that is a perfectly warranted natural response given the circumstances. You're woken up to this loud explosion downstairs, you know, like, hey, Buster, what's going on? Why did you crash your vehicle into my business, bub? Come on. Jiminy Christmas. Like, you would have probably thought you got hit by a drone strike or something. And then you just see this SUV halfway through your business. Now, luckily they invested in some of the highest quality wood the fucking United States has ever seen, so it didn't get all the way through into the bar and, like, bust everything up. It was mainly just damage to the front. But even still, that's pretty scary and confusing, so it makes sense he would be loud.
Pence was briefly detained by officers at the very tense scene, but Morris was arrested, charged with multiple felonies, including assaulting a police officer and held without bond.
There's currently no evidence to confirm the officer's side of the story that he was assaulted by the owners or anything like that. And the charges that were brought against him initially have already been reduced. But the lawyer that's representing them isn't satisfied with just misdemeanor charges being on the table. He wants the whole thing dropped. He says this is a bunch of baloney. He says that they actually have a video that confirms that the police were the aggressors. And from a couple of the articles I read, they reference another video that doesn't show any type of physical confrontation between the owners and the officers. So if this video exists, it should help prove that the owners were not in the wrong in any way. The only thing that is confirmed is that the owners were yelling, which again I think is totally understandable, given an SUV just crashed into their building in the middle of the night, scaring the bejesus out of everybody. Yelling about your business being attacked by a police SUV out of nowhere like a jump scare is not grounds for an arrest. So the attorney on Twitter is saying that they have a video to confirm there was never any physical confrontation. From some of the articles I've read, there's other videos that exist that also don't show any kind of like assault on the officer or anything like that. Now, if you want my theory here, I think the officer was extremely embarrassed with his awful driving and after hitting the building, immediately went into action movie mode. So the airbag deploys, blasts him in the face, maybe semi-concusses him, and then he's in a war zone in his brain at that point. So he pops open the door and does a combat rollout. He takes one knee, pistol drawn. He's got his service pistol out, analyzing the situation, and then all of a sudden the owners start yelling. And I think he was already in so deep that he felt like he needed to make an arrest or something. Like, that's what I think. I think it all stems from the shame of being such a dog shit driver that he ran into this fucking building. That's my theory. I don't think the owners assaulted the officer. I do think they were definitely yelling at him, which they had every right to do, but I don't think there was any actual assaulting of the officer here. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to cover this situation a little bit because that footage of the police SUV hitting like this mean drift into the building out of nowhere for no reason had me scratching my head wondering how everything's going to pan out from this point forward. That is probably the worst driver the police academy has ever put behind the wheel of a police vehicle, I've got to say. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's really about it. Oh yeah, also, one more thing. Whoever built the front of that building really needs to capitalize off this situation and start saying like, hey, we were responsible for that super durable, super strong, indestructible build that blocked an SUV from getting through. The best stories ever told are the ones that have the satisfying conclusion of the good guys winning in the end against evil, overcoming insurmountable odds to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in a miraculous triumph. But we don't live in those stories, we live in cringe, so that's not always the case here in reality, and a haunting reminder of that fact is what just happened with Friendly Jordies. Friendly Jordies is an Australian YouTuber whom I've covered on the channel multiple times. I truly believe he is one of the best investigative journalists in the world, period. With no exaggeration, he risks his life to serve the community and inform them of corruption that it's gone unchecked, and his reward for this is his house being firebombed and his life being threatened multiple times. And these aren't the kind of death threats that you see all the time on Twitter where a 13-year-old anime fan gets upset if you say you don't like something about their favorite show. These are death threats from an organized group of criminals with a very scary history and a track record of already trying to murder Jordan Shanks, Friendly Jordies. They fucking firebombed his house. Well, actually, they firebombed his neighbor's house because the absolute goobers got it wrong the first time and then came back to try and finish the job by firebombing his actual residence. So they have already tried to take his life before. That's some shit that you only see in like espionage, blockbuster Hollywood films, and yet Friendly Jordies is living through it right now because New South Wales is so unbelievably corrupt that it's festering in the public eye. And yet the authorities that are supposed to protect and look out for the public safety are just closing their eyes and plugging their ears to all of this unfolding in front of them. It's despicable. It seems New South Wales is more corrupt than Gotham at this point. Friendly Jordies yesterday posted a video where he had to publicly admit defeat at the hands of this corruption, unfortunately.
You might have noticed that we haven't been releasing videos after the police arrested a suspect for the firebombing of my house. While we're very grateful for their persistence throughout this ordeal, we felt it would be prudent to see what the response would be from certain individuals.
If you haven't kept up with the lore here, I'll give you the previously on Dragon Ball Z recap. They did finally make an arrest on one of the suspects responsible for the firebombing of his house. It took about a year, but better late than never. Rather be tardy to the party than not show up at all. At least it's seeming like crime won't pay. They won't get away with this, right? Wrong! Idiot! Stupid! Can you stop sipping on your moron potion for a second? Put the stupid juice down? Of course the criminals are gonna get away with it, because I guess that's just the way things go in New South Wales. At least when it comes to criminals of this caliber. The very powerful ones, who are just seemingly above the law.
Their response has been one of rather perplexing confidence. Buoyed by the lack of further arrests, they have decided to be much more blunt with their requests, threatening anyone they believe had handed over information to assist with the creation of the video Coronation. This video detailed links former Deputy Premier John Barilaro had with development company Coronation Property. The video encompassed more than Coronation Property Associates. It included an array of spirited characters, many of whom were enraged with its release. Police have made it very clear that many of the prime suspects in the firebombing are in that video.
The video he's talking about here is a video Friendly Jordies and his team released called Coronation, and this shit was so hot it'd leave the toilet bowl steaming. It was massive. Friendly Jordies and his team released a firebomb of their own with this one here. Coronation highlights a lot of horrible things going on with a lot of very scary and powerful people doing bad shit. And they were not happy that this video got posted, and it put a target on Friendly Jordies' back. Really, it put the target right on his fucking forehead, right on his noggin, because this was a big deal. It caused a lot of ripples, and it made him public enemy number one of this group of people.
Now, over a year later, these figures are once again venting, threatening dire consequences if the video isn't taken down. Given these people's colourful history, we don't consider these to be idle threats. Naturally, we contacted the appropriate authorities, but it appears these men have engulfed the state in a state of fear. It appears these men are indeed above the law. It appears these men are free to point the scythe at anyone they wish, blackmail them with the most heinous, violent acts imaginable, and there is not an authority in the land powerful enough, or perhaps foolhardy enough, to check them.
Just tragic. Where do you go when the authorities abandon you? What are you supposed to do when the people that are supposed to protect you refuse to, because the people that are coming after you are stronger than them and out of their reach, just untouchable? What can you possibly do besides just comply?
But if the content of Coronation is to fall on willfully deaf ears, if its only tangible result is the death of innocent people, we will not have their lives hang on our conscience. In other words, you win. We're taking down the video. Congratulations, you run this city.
It's sad because it's such an important piece of investigative journalism, but it's also the only choice they could make in this situation. This isn't a group that's making idle threats. They have already firebombed twice, and they have a history of doing a lot more, as was highlighted by Jordies and his team. So they did the only thing they could when faced against this enemy, They just complied. They took down that video. Now, of course, since it's the internet, nothing's ever really gone forever in this cyberspace, except of course for all my old YouTube videos I deleted when I was a teenager because I was embarrassed of them and worried that the copyrighted music would cause a problem, so I deleted them in like 2012. And I desperately want those videos back, but they can't be reclaimed. Those are the only things in the entire documented history of the World Wide Web that are apparently just fucking poofed out of existence forever and can't be brought back. But aside from that, nothing else has ever really gone forever. There's always re-upload, there's always archives of it. So in this case, Coronation, the video that he had to take down, is re-uploaded 1,000 times already. So it's not like completely dead and buried or anything like that. And I saw a lot of people saying this could actually, start the Streisand effect here on this and have even more eyes on this group, which I guess is possible, but I think the big victory for them is that they've shown that they can kind of bully and strong-arm anyone with impunity. They can't be touched by authorities. They just have this green light to do whatever they want with no repercussions, so they're able to force Geordies to take down a video they didn't like. And they're just demonstrating that power here, and I think that's kind of what they were aiming to do, not so much shut down the information, because I'm sure they knew that this was just going to be re-uploaded, but it's just kind of letting Geordies and pretty much everyone else know that they can do what they want. And it's very fucking scary, just how powerful they are. Being a real investigative journalist has to be one of the most dangerous things you can do. I've mentioned this a few times before, but this isn't like the only example of this happening to an investigative journalist. It just happens to be one of the few times that happens to be a YouTuber as well, so more people are made aware of what's going on. One of the biggest ones that I always go to is the Panama Papers, if any of you remember that. The Panama Papers were a massive deal for about a day. And then collectively, the whole world stopped talking about it mysteriously, even though the Panama Papers were quite alarming. And one of the lead investigative journalists behind the Panama Papers released was actually killed in a car bomb, and nobody ever talked about it. I bet most of you didn't even know that. Anytime I bring that up, I'm met with question marks in my stream chat. Investigative journalism is a dangerous thing to get into. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for the ones that do take this on to try and help their community and keep everyone informed and safe and let everyone know what's going on, so that way people can be more aware. So what Geordies and his team do, I think, is extremely important work, and they are very, very good at it. So it's just really upsetting to see them have to admit defeat at the hands of this corruption they've been fighting against. And it's downright shameful from the authorities in New South Wales for their refusal to do anything about this. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya. A couple days ago, a friend of mine, Matt, came over. You might have met him before. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, and we had a little play date. And he came over, and we got to talking. We got to yapping a little bit, blabbering about really evil companies. I think it started because we were going through, like, Meta. And as we were going over, like, Meta and all of their shadiness, it naturally led to, like, TikTok and Twitter and Amazon, the whole kit and caboodle, and then we ended up just diving down the rabbit hole of just discussing, like, evil companies in general. So I just fired on the OBS and started recording the conversation. This is really just the stream of consciousness and ranting about bad companies and learning about how some companies we knew were bad were even worse than we thought. And I just decided, hey, maybe you'd find it interesting. Or maybe you just want to hear about some shitty companies. So here's two stupid assholes talking about some of the evil corporations in the world. So there's some companies I know are evil, but I can't put my finger on why, like BlackRock.
Right.
And Blackstone.
Exactly.
And any, like, Black plus
one of the, yes,
geode
exactly.
is, like, bad.
They're always, it almost feels like they tried to make the evilest company.
Yeah, like, so what is BlackRock? They're an investment group, right?
Exactly, and that's everybody's. There's also BlackRock Bar and Grill. They're fine.
Evil.
I don't like their food. They're fine.
And then, so BlackRock
investing.
They own everything, right?
Like just everything in the world. You should look. Yeah, I'll get the size of their investment fund.
Yeah, and then Blackstone is, what do they do?
I don't know what Blackstone is.
Okay, that's massage stones.
Yep.
Blackstone's definitely a company. Oh, I typed in Backstone. I see what went wrong. Okay. Yeah.
There you go, Blackstone.
And it's an investment management company.
And type in who owns Blackstone. I bet it's BlackRock.
Oh no. The geodes go deep. Stephen A. Schwarzman. Over 1.1 trillion in assets.
Under management. All right, now let's see. BlackRock assets. BlackRock has 10.01 trillion in assets under management.
Oh, wow. Now, what about Rupert Murdoch? He's not a company. Well, he is kind of a company.
He's got a company, right?
Well, he has every company. He is the media mogul. So like every news agency is Murdoch back. Well, he looks like Dana Carvey in Master of Disguise when he's trying to get into the Turtle Club.
You're absolutely right. Just older.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I've always thought, Rupert Murdoch is the most evil sounding
It
name
is
possible.
Did you see it in the Super Bowl? They gave him a shout out.
I did.
They said shout out Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, I forget why.
He
they
probably
did that.
owns the broadcasting rights.
Oh, that's right.
He owns anything that hits the television screen.
Yep.
Murdoch's got his little winky in.
Oh, he founded Fox.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure you know the show Succession.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I know it.
There we go. I'm pretty sure the main guy in Succession is based on Rupert Murdoch.
That makes sense.
I think if you're in media, you're evil.
Yeah.
Like if you own media corporations, you are evil.
I think that's fair. Like I feel like it's also only owned by 3 people. Now I think the most obvious one that we can definitely
I was going to say, do we want to put our number 1 out there?
Yeah, United Healthcare.
It's UHC.
Yeah. Well, the good news is, checking UHC's website, they claim that they approve and pay 90% of all medical claims.
How is that not just false advertising?
It's
like,
just
we know it's not true.
It's just legitimately a blatant lie. It's so good.
Greedy and evil.
Like needlessly evil too. Like outrageously, comically, cartoonishly evil.
Yes.
I think it's worth mentioning when we say United Healthcare, I'm talking more about like even just general health insurance being the worst company in the world.
I think they are the worst
of the
them,
worst, yeah.
But they're all terrible.
There's not a good health insurance provider.
Every other healthcare company probably loves UHC because they take all of the heat. That's also horrible. Like, these are all bad.
Yeah, they're all not good. Burger King is actually going to be on the worst companies list. It's like the worst. I
can't put it as 2.
It wouldn't be 2. It'd be I'd put it in the top 20 just because the food is so almost inedibly bad that I think you have to give a special spot on a list of worst companies because they consistently have the worst possible food options.
All the time. And just to be clear, in our opinion.
Yeah, well, if we want to get factual, Long John Silver's probably worse than Burger King.
If we want to be factual. Boeing.
Oh, Boeing!
We didn't get into Boeing. This list is going to be so tough. I almost just want a bucket that we throw all the bad companies in.
Yeah.
Because I know UHC's up here.
It's in a different league, really. Boeing's a really good one because Boeing, not only are the planes not performing well and they just stranded astronauts in space on the Starliner for the last like fucking 14 months. What was supposed to be an 8-day mission has turned into like 300 days stranded on the ISS.
Just insane.
But like, where do you put them? Because like no one's died as a result of the Boeing like corruption yet, aside from the whistleblowers that they're fucking piling corpses up.
But didn't people die in the plane crashes?
Yeah, but that wasn't Boeing's fault. The Max crashes, that was entirely Boeing's fault. Right. I just mean, like, recently.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, I mean, Boeing does have tons of blood on its hands. I was just talking about, like, these recent plane crashes aren't...
Those aren't that.
It's not
I agree. And we're nothing if not intellectual and can separate, our feelings.
Yeah.
But I know you've watched the same things back when, like, what happened to Boeing, where they were the golden standard.
If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going.
Exactly. And it was true. And it was when engineers ran the whole company. They sold it. Suits took over for the engineers.
Yep.
Of course, the first thing they should cut to save money is quality testing and quality assurance.
Yep, and they have so many protocols that they just don't follow anymore.
Yep. And it all just went to shit. But no, you are right. The most recent ones aren't really...
Not Boeing's fault per se.
Yeah.
But the Max crashes, that was entirely Boeing.
Yeah.
They've got to be up there with like the worst companies. I don't know where we'd put it, like in the top 5.
I don't either. This is another interesting one. I feel like we're getting all the data out there and then we'll arrange the puzzle. Monsanto.
What's that?
Which they are the pesticide company.
Yeah, they're agrochemical, agricultural, biotech.
Yes, and I've always heard what needs to be said, except how are they not the number one worst company? Formed at the start of the last century, they are still going strong even after producing PCBs and dioxin and greatly affecting war veterans and Vietnamese children. They had to radically transform to survive towards the end of the century. You start to see that justice must be a joke. I mean, that doesn't say what it is.
Apparently, they manufactured Agent Orange.
Oh!
Holy!
Yeah. Roundup.
Did you see it? I didn't see it. Oh, yeah.
Because Roundup, you know how like people will be like, coffee causes cancer. Like, here's a few, but it's very...
It's loose.
Right. Yeah. Roundup is one of the products I found where they're like, this is cancer. Like, they've created cancer in a can, is what I've essentially read.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
This also says... Oh, yeah, there we go. It's got glyphosate in it. What I was reading was that Monsanto knew it caused cancer and also falsified reports to hide it. They're a corporation known to falsify reports in order to obtain approval for whatever they are currently manufacturing. They did this with Agent Orange and PCBs, so it can evidently be surmised that they probably did this with the GMO reports they submitted to the FDA.
I don't know this company very well. They seem bad.
Yeah.
They seem like jerks.
They do.
Agent Orange?
Yep.
Not a fan.
Not great. Not my favorite.
Didn't like it. I did get reminded. Nestle.
I was just about to say that.
Nestle.
I was literally about to say Monsanto reminded me of Nestle.
They have to be in the top 3. It is still great. But do you remember like the baby formula controversy for Nestle? Careful examination of Nestle's marketing behavior shows that Nestle entry into low and middle income formula markets caused 212,000 infant deaths per year among mothers without clean water access at the peak of the Nestle controversy of 1981. Well, Nestle also had their infamous statement, "Water is not a human right." Nestle was accused of providing free or low-cost supplies of infant formula in hospitals and maternity centers, often dispensed by milk nurses, which were salesmen dressed in nurse uniforms, to encourage new mothers to use infant formula. Formula use among newborns increased the risk that mothers release prolactin-inhibiting hormones, which signal milk production to shut down, creating a future dependence on breast milk substitutes. By the 60s, Nestle already viewed marketing of formula in hospitals as a strategic approach to encouraging adoption of infant formula, as seen in an excerpt from its 1969 annual report. So Shein's on here. I don't know enough about Shein, but...
Oh, the clothing company?
Temu.
Oh.
Temu's gotta make the list.
Just reminded me, though.
Comcast,
the fucking internet companies.
Yeah,
Nothing's
ISPs.
good. FTX is crazy because... Clearly, it's a horrible company, but it's like it's almost laughably bad. In a way. Like I guess not for all of the people who lost all of their money in it.
Oh, easy one, Ticketmaster. That's another really easy one.
That is and this is what I'm meaning by buckets, because top bucket you've got UHC, Monsanto, Nestle, the people who are killing,
like
people
actively
and don't
killing
care.
people, yeah.
And then the next bucket is like, you guys fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like, you are greedy as all.
It's just,
get out.
it's a scam, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge racket where Ticketmaster owns Live Nation, and like Ticketmaster has all the fees and shit.
Yep.
They're still in a legal battle right now, which is a
With
pretty...
who? Like which side?
God, like they're in just like a huge legal battle. They had a really cool statement that I'm struggling to remember. They said something to the effect of, we're saving you money in the end or something. Let me look it up. Ticketmaster argued that competition would cost fans more money in their antitrust lawsuit.
Oh. Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah, usually when there's competition, I mean,
Yeah.
the consumers are the ones that are hurt.
They compete to drive price up faster.
Yeah, exactly. That's economics 101. With Ticketmaster having monopoly, now they have complete control to look out for your best interests.
You know how low they can make those prices if they wanted to?
Yeah, and they are.
Yeah, they're doing it. Purdue Pharmaceuticals. They are the ones behind the Oxy crisis.
How so?
They were the ones who pushed Oxy on all doctors said it wasn't dangerous at all, lied about everything.
Last month, Attorney General Ken Paxton secured $7.4 billion settlement with Purdue Pharma and Sackler family for the role in the opioid epidemic.
That's wild. They clearly knew, and the fact that nobody's gone to jail is disgusting.
Yeah, I looked up the Sacklers' awful last name, by the way.
You know who played him in one of the Netflix shows?
Huh.
Matthew Broderick.
Oh, God. He was on our Worst Celebrities list. He makes a comeback. For those that don't know why we dislike Matthew Broderick and why he made the bad celebrities tier list, he killed a woman from drunk driving. Well, it was a woman and her daughter, if I remember right. The 1987 car crash, she crossed the wrong lane, collided head-on with another car. The driver, Anna Gallagher, and her mother, Margaret Doherty, were killed instantly. He got charged $100 for the careless driving practices.
Because then you've got Amazon who's like, you can't pee.
Yeah.
So there's all these different categories of bad, essentially.
Bank of America is one that's always going to be on the list. I feel like that one's also pretty obvious.
I feel like there's big industry sections too, like banks in general, healthcare in general.
Lockheed Martin.
I mean, they're...
Nintendo. The way... That one should be pretty clear. I don't like Nintendo.
The way they handle...
Everything. They shit on the community. They have the most anti-consumer, archaic practices. There's Ubisoft, because they're absolutely in the shitter.
Yeah,
like
and I think there's a lot of these gaming companies. That's why I think I'm saying it's our list, not the objective list. Yeah. Because I would put a lot of these gaming companies on there in my mind.
But they also just wouldn't be anywhere in the same ballpark as like,
a UHC.
Yeah, as
exactly.
Or a Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, we've got UHC, Lockheed Martin, Nintendo, Burger King. There's just so many bad companies. So how do we narrow this down to 10? And how do you want to?
I don't know. I don't think we need to. We can just be ranting about shitty companies.
This isn't even a list at this point. We're just talking about the worst companies.
Yeah. I think we know which the worst in the world is, though. It's got to be health insurance, right?
It has to be health insurance. I feel like
insurance.
there's no world in which it's not. Like, our top buckets are health insurance, pharmaceuticals. I'm trying to think of how I would encompass, like, Monsanto and Nestle.
While you think about that, I'm going to go to a special bucket and put some poop in it. I'll be right back. What'd you find?
So I was reading about this company, Cargill.
Oh, yeah. Cargill? It's pronounced Cargill.
Oh, it's French. They're the second largest privately owned company in the U.S. From what I read, they're bad.
Yep.
But doesn't seem like, I don't think they complete. My whole thing was like people died from Salmonella, E. coli, all this stuff. Let me show you one thing though. But it's not like they created Agent Orange, which I think precludes them from that. Read this. I said this sounds like fucking Hydra.
We are the flour in your bread, the wheat in your noodles, the salt on your fries, the corn in your tortillas, the chocolate in your dessert, the sweetener in your soft drink. We are the oil in your salad dressing and the beef, pork, or chicken you eat for dinner. We are the cotton in your clothing, the backing on your carpet, and the fertilizer in your field.
It feels like a threat.
It feels like what Chucky Finster's mom wrote him before she died.
That's such a different way to look at it.
Wait, do you remember her note?
No.
I'm the wind against your hair.
Oh, no.
The flower in your garden.
So I think Cargill, I don't know enough. I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm just saying I don't know enough to put them on my list.
Yeah, I've never even heard of Cargill, but it says they're destroying the planet, so it looks like big deforestation.
Gotcha. All right, not good.
So not good.
You know what? Just because this stuff says it, we'll put them on there. Put them at the bottom. Cargill's there.
They're there. They made it.
So would you say above all else is healthcare?
Yep.
I think that's my number one by a landslide.
For sure. I think so as well.
I think the category of doing really bad things and knowing that you're doing it, and once again, people are dying, but just not to the same level as like a UHC who's just denying sick people help.
Yeah, so that'd be Pharma, the Purdue
Yep.
Pharma,
Purdue Pharma.
Nestle.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think. I think there's a lot we missed, for sure.
We can keep digging through.
No, we don't need to. I feel like there's just so many it'd be hard to pinpoint. Like, I think there's so many that are obvious, like Apple,
Yeah, and that's the human rights violations, I feel
Yeah.
like, which is Amazon maybe towards the top of that. But once you get into that, it's all of them. It's Apple, it's Nike, it's every clothing manufacturer, 90% of clothing manufacturers. Like,
We didn't even think about cigarettes. Cigarettes is it's so easy. But
this is another category in my head.
does that make them evil though? Because you smoke it and you know it's bad for you. I think they're probably more
like, I think they almost go along with an Exxon in my head, because the amount of money and campaigning they do, at least back then, to convince you they're not bad.
That's true. They used to do that.
And then I think it's all malicious negligence, where you go, I know this is bad, but it makes me money, so I'm going to do everything in my power to keep making this money.
Yeah.
BlackRock's on there.
Pornhub, porn in general.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Also, yeah, I know. I thought we were doing worse, not best.
What is this one?
I don't know. Try pulling it up. I thought that was... Is that Titleist?
The worst golf balls I've ever had.
Oh, God. Is that just England?
I think that's a car brand. I think we hit the good ones.
I think we've hit the good ones as well.
I don't think there's any like glaring behemoth we missed, right?
No, we can finish off with our most hated companies, which is Burger King.
Naturally. Artesian builds.
Defunct companies.
Yes.
You happy with that list?
I'm happy with that list. Good work.
And then,
Good work today. Ooh-wee. What an eventful last couple of minutes I had right before starting this recording. I've got a headache that's been brewing, and then there was a bug on my leg that had me squealing and swatting at my leg, and then I happened to see this clip of Mike Tiny Johnson trying to play a sad song on the world's smallest violin about Congress members and trading stocks, aka insider trading to anyone who actually fucking activates neurons, by the way. This has just been kind of miserable. It's like the equivalent of that cartoon gag where a character steps on a rake, turns around, steps on another rake, and just hits themselves in the face a bunch of times. That's what's happened to me here. Now, this is not a new clip. I think it's gone viral recently, which is why I just saw it. This is from like a year ago or something like that. And in the full clip, he's talking about why he's in favor of a ban on, Congress members using their knowledge to trade stocks, getting an advantage like that, which is illegal, by the way, but you wouldn't know because no one ever gets in trouble for it.
I mean, I'm in favor of that because I don't think we should have any appearance of impropriety here, okay? But the other side of it, some people say...
Oh, I love that. He just can't stand on it. No, I'm in favor of banning it. We need to banish it to the Shadow Realm. But... And then he goes on to make points gathering sympathy for stock trading with Congress members' knowledge, potentially. So you're against it, but you're also so sympathetic for why members of Congress do it. How peculiar. Those two things seem at odds there, Mike, don't you think?
A few bad actors discolor it for everyone. And look, we have no tolerance for anything even resembling insider trading or any of this kind of advantage that anybody could take. Zero tolerance for it, and we'll stamp it out ourselves. So that's why I'm in favor of the policy, but I understand people that have misgivings about that, so we'll see where it lands. Yes.
We know where it lands, the same place it always does, right in the fucking trash can. Because insider trading has become a staple for these corrupt politicians at the top of the food chain here. So even though he talks about him being in favor of the ban, he spends a good chunk of time, which is the clip that has gone viral, making arguments in favor of why politicians, Congress members, have engaged in trading these stocks and how sympathetic he is for it. It's fucking delusional. It's just openly disgusting. And then he also has this, like, fraudulent statement about how there's zero tolerance for insider trading. Since when? No one's getting punished for it, Mike. You're going to stamp it out yourself? What does that mean? Just bend over for it? Let it keep happening? Just goat-seeing here? Because that's what's been going on. You're not stamping out insider trading for shit. I'll show you that viral clip of him Gangnam styling on the American worker and talking about the stock trading as though it's like a positive thing almost. But first, I want to just make it clear that all of these zombies do this same thing. They'll publicly condemn, boo, insider trading bad. But they know that it's not going anywhere, and in fact, they don't want it to, because all of them are fucking doing it. Even someone like Nancy Pelosi, whose name has become synonymous with insider trading, also publicly condemns it, talking about her support for putting the kibosh on it. Nancy Pelosi's potential insider trading is a worse-kept secret than me being short. But she's never been punished for it, there's been no consequences for it, and plenty of people like her, especially in Trump's inner circle. All of his cronies are actively butt-fucking the market in broad daylight, just blatantly corrupt insider trading in front of your very eyes. And who's going to jail? Who's getting perp-walked for insider trading? Nobody, it's crickets. So, people like Nancy Pelosi or Mike Johnson can come forward publicly and deliver valuable lip service about how much they hate insider trading and that they're pushing for action against it, but they know it's not coming because all of them are doing it, and they also don't want it to stop either. The only person that I can think of in recent times who was even on the hook for insider trading was fucking Martha Stewart, and that was 2 decades ago. Nowadays, you're not cool unless you pee your pants. Fucking all these ghouls in Congress seem to be engaging in it. And also, I don't even think Martha Stewart actually went to jail for insider trading. I think it was like ancillary things on the side. But anyway, the Mike Johnson speech here was a nice cherry on top of the shit cake where, even though he was saying he's in favor of the ban, he then did a whole spiel about, well, I'm very sympathetic to, Congress members who do stock trade and such.
Well, look, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, a residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family.
Base salary for a member of Congress is $170,000 a year plus change. Oh, also plus a bit of healthcare benefits. But yeah, he's trying to drum up sympathy about the sacrifice they have to make for that, because that's not enough money to take care of a family. Oh, their salary's been in limbo, frozen like that since 2009. But it's also 3 times the average salary of the normal American worker. So, a member of Congress can't support their family off just that 6-figure salary, yet normal average Americans are expected to off of a third of that? That's interesting. I don't see Mike Johnson making any sympathetic arguments for trying to raise the average salary for workers. Why is it only Congress members who get his sympathy on their stock trading to try and support their family because $170,000 a year just isn't quite enough and shouldn't be expected to take care of their family? Talking about how, if they can't trade stocks, we're going to lose qualified people coming into Congress because the clams just aren't there. Hey, pal. You just blowing from Stupid Town? Can you not see the clear conflict there of people getting into politics solely to make money as opposed to actually serve the public and improve the country in which they're representing and trying to, supposed to be advocating for the will of the people? If they're there solely to be making money off their position, don't you think that kind of compromises them in that job? Just food for thought, I guess, Mike. These fucking crooks feel so emboldened by the state of this country right now where there are no consequences when you reach this level of power that he's just openly yapping about it. He's not even whispering it. He's saying it out loud with his whole chest. It's hit with a fucking truth serum and he's just unapologetically talking about why it's so sympathetic that these Congress members will engage in a wee bit of corruption, a tiddlywink of insider trading, and it's actually kind of understandable. But don't worry, he's in favor of the ban, which also still hasn't come. Still not banned. They're still doing it. No one's getting punished for it, even though it is just right there in the open, this blatant insider trading. And it's been going on for so long. I also find it adorable how Mike Johnson in particular, anytime he's asked about anything, he's always just like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about it. Or, Mike, did you hear what Trump said about this? He's like, I didn't hear it. No, I didn't hear that. Dude is deaf 99% of the time with his job here, but his ears perk up and his senses fire when it comes to face fucking the American public and trying to, like, rally support behind the idea of Congress members needing to engage in a little insider trading, perhaps, mayhaps. 170K plus just isn't enough to be raising the family and taking care of their family, so, like, we really do need to have sympathy for why they might choose to do that. It's just so delusional and so out of touch. And again, he's just saying it. It's not like he's being tortured to have this information come out of him where it just oozes out of his lips in desperation. He's just confidently saying it. He also has the gall to call it a sacrifice, by the way. Oh, the noble sacrifice. Only getting 170K plus benefits in Congress. It's just heart breaks for them. Like, we need to have sympathy for this stock trading. Like, I do think, we need to really consider that. That's not a sacrifice, brother. That is better than the vast majority of jobs that the American public are doing. And I strongly believe that the normal American worker works longer and harder than members of Congress. I fully believe that. And they are getting a third of the salary. And yet Mike has the chutzpah to be saying that it's a sacrifice only getting 170K to do this job. Do you know how many people would kill for that kind of salary, Mike? Like, that is the most envious position to be in. Right now, the average American is expected to be raising a family off a third of what you're crying about here and yapping about. And you're saying, like, how difficult that is. Imagine what it's like for the actual average American. Like, it's almost impossible off of just a single income, which is why dual income is kind of the only way people are able to even start to tinker with the idea of getting a house and starting a family. It's extremely difficult. And even with dual income, that's still not reaching 170K a year off the average American working salary, Mike. This is just a terrible, out-of-touch argument that he's making. And again, in the full context, he is saying that he's, like, in favor of the ban, but if that's the case, Mike, why are you gathering sympathy for those that are doing this stock trading, this potentially dirty dealings here using insider knowledge? That's a little weird. It's almost like it's just lip service. Because all of these politicians know that if they just outright said, like, insider trading, fuck you guys, kick rocks, we're going to do it, come hell or high water, who cares? They would get pushback even from the most brain dead of drones. So they have to put on this facade of like, oh no, this is really bad. And even though a lot of them will say things about how bad insider trading is and make these pushes to put the kibosh on it, somehow it just never quite pans out. Isn't that weird? Isn't that so strange? It's almost like it's one of the big perks to being in their positions of power. Milking it for all the money they can possibly squeeze out of it, using information that isn't available to the public and only available to them. It's what we're seeing right now with so many of those close to Trump, for example, where it's just very clear. And it's also something that's been going on for an extremely long time in previous administrations as well. Insider trading has been a staple for many members of Congress for so long. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. No matter how much talk there is about it, it just seems like it is truly corrupt to the core, just rotten. And Mike Johnson isn't even shy about trying to, talk about it positively. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering about it. It's fucking infuriating. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya. Another Boeing whistleblower has died. What a weird coincidence that is, right? 2 Boeing whistleblowers dying under mysterious circumstances back to back in a matter of only 2 months? Man, that's peculiar, isn't it? Must just be really bad RNG. No reason to investigate that any further, I'm sure. So for those that don't know, being a Boeing whistleblower is more detrimental to your health than smoking cigarettes. At least the cigarettes kill you slowly over a period of years, whereas being a Boeing whistleblower kills you almost immediately. Like, skydiving without a parachute is safer for you than blowing the whistle on Boeing and all of their shadiness. So, a month ago, there was a Boeing whistleblower named John Barnett who was found dead with apparent self-inflicted gunshot wounds, the timing of which was really interesting considering he was at the tail end of an extremely important lawsuit that he was engaged in with Boeing. And according to everyone that knew him, he was extremely excited to be done with that lawsuit, and in fact, shortly before he was found dead, he'd actually told people that if he does turn up dead, just know he didn't do it to himself. Probably circumstantial evidence, that probably doesn't mean anything. Just don't think too hard and accept the shit that they feed you with the official story that he just decided while sitting in his truck to blow his goddamn brains out. That makes a lot of sense here. I stand by my assessment that John Barnett was assassinated by Boeing. I don't believe it's Boeing themselves, but I believe it's a couple high-ranking members within Boeing that are taking matters into their own hands and doing these things. It's the only explanation that makes any level of sense to this. So I made a whole video breaking down the evidence in the John Barnett case, as well as an entire Red Thread episode dedicated to uncovering all of the shadiness and corruption within Boeing. That company is fucked. Jackson, Windigoon, and myself went through the entire history of Boeing, and they are so corrupt it would make Umbrella Corporation blush at how evil Boeing is. It is shocking. So I really do think that these two whistleblowers were the victims of some kind of assassination. So let's talk about the most recent whistleblower. His name is Joshua Dean. I learned about it last night while playing Crab Souls, and well, it's not the real name of the game. The name of the game is Another Crab's Treasure, and it's a banger. But while playing this game, chat told me that another Boeing whistleblower had just turned up dead, and I thought they were memeing. And it turns out they weren't. They were actually telling the truth. Oh. Do you see the second Boeing whistleblower got murked? No shot the other whistleblower is dead. No shot. It's real? No, I don't believe that. Hold on, I'm looking that shit up right now. No! What? It's just in plain sight. Yeah, whistleblower Josh Dean of Boeing supplier Spirit Aerosystems has died. What? Another Boeing whistleblower is dead. 6 hours ago, yeah. Joshua Dean, a former quality auditor at Boeing supplier Spirit Aerosystems and one of the first whistleblowers to allege Spirit leadership had ignored manufacturing defects on the 737 MAX, died Tuesday morning after a struggle with a sudden, fast-spreading infection. Oh, that's interesting. This time it wasn't bullet to the head? They're getting creative with their assassinations. That's crazy. This is the most dangerous thing you can be as a Boeing whistleblower. That's more dangerous than being like a fucking volcano lava taste tester. This shit, it's just in plain sight. His entire family stated he was healthy until after he blew the whistle. He lived a very healthy lifestyle and the illness was sudden and unexpected. Yeah, he contracted that stick it to the moniosis from Boeing. Joshua Dean was a quality auditor at Boeing supplier Spirit Aerosystems and was among the first whistleblowers to accuse Spirit leadership of ignoring defects on the 737 MAX, and he died shortly after contracting influenza B, MRSA, and then developing pneumonia. Now, for those that are unaware, Boeing has a history of just ignoring safety precautions and just hiding things. So in the previous case with John Barnett, we actually learned quite a few alarming things, such as there were times where scrap metal was used for Boeing planes in order to meet deadlines. They'd also keep things off the books as much as possible. They even used Dawn dish soap as a lubricant for the aircraft door seals at one point. Then they also used hotel key cards and wet cheesecloths to perform maintenance. Just an absolute smorgasbord of malpractice, at least in my perspective here. Of course, I'm not an aircraft specialist, but using Dawn dish soap and hotel key cards, that doesn't really seem like textbook protocol there. That sounds like something you'd read on WikiHow for a DIY aircraft maintenance at your own home for like an RC aircraft, not a fucking Boeing. So these gentlemen came forward to try and alert the public about what Boeing's been doing, or rather not doing, that they should be, and they've both paid the ultimate price for it. In my eyes, they're heroes for the work they've tried to do here. So being a Boeing whistleblower is basically like just taking a cyanide capsule at this point, it seems. It's just more of a matter of when, not if, you turn up dead, I suppose. Let's go deeper into the case of Joshua Dean here, because this one seems so blatant. His mother and stepfather described him as a health nut who rarely drank and attended church regularly. He started feeling sick around 2 weeks ago. He stayed home from work for a couple days, but things got worse. Sunday, April 21st, is when his mother got a call from him that he was really sick, having trouble breathing, and he went to immediate care, and they told him he had strep throat. She went to check on her son and telling him to call her if he felt worse, and he did call her a couple hours later and said that he was going to the emergency room and that he was scared because they found something in his lungs. He tested positive for influenza B, he tested positive for MRSA, he had pneumonia, his lungs were completely filled up, and from there he just went downhill. This was a stunning turn of events for Dean and his family because he was described as someone who was very healthy, he went to the gym, ran nearly every day, and was very careful about his diet. Quote, "This was his first time ever in a hospital. He didn't even have a doctor because he was never sick. But within days, his kidneys gave out and he was relying on an ECMO life support machine to do the work of his heart and lungs." The night before Dean died, Green said medical staff in Oklahoma did a bronchoscopy on his lungs. The doctor said he'd never seen anything like it before in his life. His lungs were just totally gummed up and like a mesh over them. Unfortunately, it sounds like Dean came down with a severe case of Boeing whistleblower lung, which is a serious medical condition that only affects Boeing whistleblowers in particular. It makes coal miners' lungs look clean in comparison. So I'm not surprised that this was the doctor's first time seeing anything like this, because typically a Boeing whistleblower doesn't even survive long enough to make it to the hospital in one piece. This fucking company is rotten to the core. Green says she asked for an autopsy to determine exactly what killed her son, and results will likely take months. "We're not sure what he died of," she said. "We know that he had a bunch of viruses, but we don't know if someone did something to him or did he just get real sick." In my unprofessional opinion, I think someone did something to him. I think the infection he contracted was Boeing hitman disease. I think he was poisoned. This is someone that took their health extremely seriously, and only a short period of time after coming forward with information about Boeing's negligent practices does he get extremely sick and then die, all in a short span of time, with something that doctors had never even seen happen before. That's a little suspicious, and this is the second whistleblower that has died under mysterious circumstances in 2 months? Wow, what a crazy coincidence. To me, this feels like someone or a group of people within Boeing is taking matters into their own hands and making an example out of these whistleblowers, because Boeing is a massive company with so many people in it. And thus, there's a lot of people that are privy to all of the shady shit that they've been doing over the past couple of decades. So, by sending this message, not so subtly, that whistleblowers don't have a long life expectancy, it makes people afraid to come forward with their own accounts. It makes more whistleblowers afraid to come forward. And I think that's the goal with all of it. That, at least in my opinion. Like I said, we did a full dive on Boeing for that Red Thread episode, and this company has been corrupt for a long time. I would not put it past them to do something like this. Maybe not the company as a whole, but at least a couple of bad actors within the company, at the very least. Now let's get into some of the things that Dean was alleging. So he had a degree in engineering, and he took his first job at Spirit in 2019, but was let go amid the layoffs during the pandemic. He then returned to work for the company as a quality auditor. He took the job very seriously and grew increasingly frustrated with what he described as a culture of not counting defects correctly, which is very commonplace when it comes to this. During 2 interviews in January, Dean said that Spirit pressured employees not to report defects in order to get planes out of the factory faster. This is something that John Barnett also said. Now, I'm not saying they don't want you to go out there and inspect a job. You know they do. But if you make too much trouble, you will get the Josh treatment. You will get what happened to me. That's what Dean told NPR. Dean was fired in April of last year in retaliation, he said, for flagging improperly drilled holes in fuselages. "I think they were sending out a message to anybody else," Dean said. "If you are too loud, we will silence you." Dean described what he saw while working for Spirit in a deposition for a lawsuit filed by the company's shareholders, who accused the company of misleading investors by attempting to conceal excessive numbers of defects at the Kansas factory. He was not a plaintiff in the case. In the shareholder lawsuit, Dean said he flagged a significant defect, misdrilled holes in the AFT pressure bulkhead of the 737 MAX fuselages months before he was fired. His deposition lays out a series of pivotal dates. October 2022. In his auditor role, Dean realizes Spirit workers misdrilled holes on the 737 MAX AFT pressure bulkhead, representing a potential threat to maintaining cabin pressure during flight. The lawsuit accuses the company of concealing the problem. April 13, 2023. Boeing publicly reveals learning of a separate defect related to the tail fin fittings on the certain 737 MAX aircraft. Spirit then confirms that defect. April 26, 2023. Spirit fires Dean, saying he failed to flag the tail fin issue. In his testimony, Dean said he told the company officials that he might have missed the tail fin defect because he had just discovered the problem with the bulkheads he inspected and was focused on that. August 23, 2023. Boeing announces it has found fastener holes in the AFT pressure bulkhead on certain 737 MAX airplanes that don't match its specifications, resulting in snowmen due to the multiple holes' elongated shape. It's the problem Dean flagged 10 months earlier. On the same day, Spirit releases a statement acknowledging the issue. The shareholder lawsuit accuses Spirit of concealing the bulkhead defect not only from investors, but also apparently from Boeing. It's important to note that Boeing is currently in talks to acquire Spirit altogether, and in the interview with NPR, Joshua Dean predicted it would be difficult to replace the experienced workforce that Spirit lost during the pandemic. The mechanics aren't as experienced, neither are the inspectors. We've just lost that. He then showed a little bit of optimism for the new CEO who was taking over, saying that he has the chance to be the new sheriff in town, and he closes by saying, "We need to make sure that there is no retaliation or intimidation. This culture of, you're too loud, you'll be moved or silenced, that's got to go." Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that culture went anywhere. In fact, they are silencing people in the biggest possible way, by making it so they can never speak again because they're dead. That is what it seems like to me. This is a problem that runs so deep with Boeing. It's in Spirit, their supplier, and Boeing itself. This is unacceptable. Like, the planes are in terrible condition. There is problems almost every single day with Boeing flights malfunctioning and having all kinds, like oodles and oodles of issues. It really feels like it's only a matter of time before a fatal incident occurs with one of Boeing's aircrafts that would have been entirely preventable if they actually just followed their own safety protocol and actually listened to the quality auditors and the people that are actually supposed to be performing maintenance on these things. It's so baffling to me that we've reached this point where they're so focused on just pumping shit out to meet deadlines that they don't really care if it's put together well. These are things that hold thousands of people's lives daily, and they're just shipping it out as cheaply and as fastly as possible while hiding as many of the defects as they can for as long as they can. That is frightening. Fucking frightening. And the people that are speaking out about it seem to be in an extraordinary amount of danger for some reason. Super weird how two whistleblowers just turn up dead under really interesting circumstances so close together. It just, the whole thing reeks of corruption. My heart breaks for the family and friends of John Barnett and Joshua Dean. Like I said, I really do view them as heroes. Whistleblowers are extremely important. To hold these companies accountable and to try and do the right thing is not easy. As that headline said, it takes tremendous courage. You take a huge risk. And unfortunately for these two, it seems like that risk cost them everything. It's super sad. And I really think that it's just right there in plain sight that Boeing has some kind of hand in it. It's fucking sickening. I think Boeing is an evil company. I think Spirit is an evil company. Like, this is just, it's craziness. It's fucking horrifying. So I want to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya. I saw something really gross today that I just need to vent about. There is a pastor in Indiana named John Lowe II, which sounds like a generic NPC name in The Sims, and he went on stage in front of the congregation to admit to committing adultery 20 years ago, and received a standing ovation for his honesty. The crowd was cheering as if it was E3 and their favorite video game just had a sequel announced. A massive, uproarious round of applause, all because this guy publicly admitted to cheating on his wife. And then it wasn't until the person that he had the affair with came on stage that they realized, maybe this isn't something to be happy about, because the victim was a 16-year-old girl that he molested and sexually abused at the church.
In case you don't know, I'm Pastor John Lowe, and
I already hate this shit. Pastors are worshipped more than Jesus, it feels like. I have absolutely no problem with religion or anything like that. As most of you know, I was an extremely religious youth. I got baptized twice just because I was afraid God might have missed the first one. And while I may not be religious anymore, I do still get it. But what I've never understood is why pastors themselves are treated like gods by the people that go to church. It's super counterintuitive. It goes against everything the Bible teaches. The people are there more to worship and suck the dick of the pastor than they are to, give thanks and praise Jesus. And it happens all the time, especially with pastors like Kenneth Copeland and Peter Popoff. They'll just blatantly say, we need you to give us all of your money because we require another jet to preach the good word of the Lord. And people will happily just give up their family's entire earnings to the church, to the pastors directly, to support that greed. Just actual evil assholes. I'm getting carried away, but you can see it right away here where they're just shouting and cheering because this guy said his own name. Dude's up there to publicly confess to an actual fucking crime, and he still can't help but get cheered on like he's a rock star for it.
I committed adultery. It was nearly 20 years ago. It continued far too long. It involved one person, and there's been no other, nor any other situations of unbecoming conduct for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I highly doubt that last part from the confession where he says this is the only person it happened with. I imagine he's probably done this to multiple other victims, just a little sneaking suspicion. He's doing his best to tiptoe around the details here because he doesn't want to reveal that the victim was underage and how fucked up it all was. So he's being very careful with the way he describes the adultery.
While applying church discipline for sexual failure, for repentance, confession, and restoration, I myself had not been disciplined for sexual misconduct. I will not use the Bible to defend myself or to beat you into scriptural submission.
I'm not gonna lie, this part actually shocked me here, him saying that he's not gonna use the Bible to defend himself. That's the number one thing the Bible has been used for hundreds of years, to defend some awful shit because of a disgusting interpretation of what the Bible says. And what's even more shocking is the way that he describes the Bible here makes it sound like it's a chair in the WWE. He says, I'm not gonna beat you into scriptural submission. Bruh, it sounds like some kind of promo material that Hulk Hogan would have said, hey brother, I'm gonna use the Bible to lay the smackdown on you at the upcoming WrestleMania Raw.
Meanwhile, I hope you believe God called you here. Meanwhile, I hope you believe that God called you here, perhaps for such a time as this. To believe, to forgive, to heal, so that God can reveal His goodness to you.
Man, what the fuck are you talking about? I certainly hope there'd never come a time where the Lord calls me into church specifically to listen to some bumbling goober confess to molesting a 16-year-old girl. Why would he want me to be there for that? Why would he want any of these people to go to church to listen to that? Because I know it wouldn't be for forgiveness. No shot. Absolutely not. And what makes me really infuriated here, and I guess I can't really blame the people, it's not their fault, but them just agreeing with him saying amen as if he's making a good point. When he's saying, I hope you believe God called you here for a time such as this so that way we can heal, forgive, and you might see His goodness. Phrasing it in a way where it's if you forgive me for my actions, then the Lord might be really nice to you in return. Can I get an amen, huh? You want a shiny new car? Well, you might want to forgive me for this crime. The Lord might provide.
I've committed to the Lord and now to you. I will submit to the process and recommendations of this board.
Yeah, a standing ovation for that. Amazing. There was a couple people, you could hear kind of cheering lightly throughout the thing, which is weird too. Fucking pumping their fists oh my god, the pastor's fucking and it's not his wife. Whee! Yeah! Absolute wild and wackiness. They're treating it as if it's a little fucking Super Bowl kind of event. But let me warn you, what you're about to hear next is pretty heavy and hard to listen to. The victim herself comes forward, to actually paint the picture of what happened that the pastor was leaving out. And she says this to the people that were just giving a massive round of applause and standing ovation to the guy.
I lived in a prison of lies and shame. Lying to protect the Lowe family. For years I thought I was a horrible person having suicidal thoughts, not realizing what had been truly done to me. I'm a prisoner no longer. I was just 16 when you took my virginity on your office floor. Do you remember that? I know you do, and I have plenty of other stories that I could bring to your remembrance.
She describes in detail the actual nature of the adultery that he was so desperately trying to dodge. He was trying to, do his best to avoid every possible raindrop of detail surrounding this, but now she's the storm that's come through and has revealed all of it to the people that were just cheering for this evil man. So, I don't want to play too much of it here because, like I said, it is hard to listen to. She says it started when she was 16, and there were witnesses and people that knew what was happening, but when she tried to talk about it, all that was done was that it was covered up.
If you did it, you need to admit it. That's right. 100%.
I told you I committed adultery. I told you it went on far too long.
Did you do it?
Yes, we did it.
You didn't tell them she was 14 years old.
No, at 16.
Now the crowd's turned on him with the pitchforks out and looking for a biblical beatdown of their own for this guy. And this comes because the woman, the victim, came forward with a lot of information about what happened, as well as her partner coming forward with additional information that they revealed in front of the entire congregation publicly. And now the crowd that was just cheering for him is no longer super thrilled about it. Adultery, I guess, was totally fine. They were okay with adultery and long-term adultery. But now that they've learned that it was against an underage minor, well, that's changed the whole narrative. I think both are bad. Obviously, it's worse that it's with a kid, but I don't think there was still any world where they should have been cheering for the guy who just admitted to cheating on his wife for so long. It's still fucked up. I am glad, though, that they at least somewhat came to their senses like, Jesus, this is bad, this shit is not good.
That's just the way it is. It's not all true, but that did happen, yes. And all I can do is ask you to forgive me, and I'm doing what the Bible process or biblical process is in the church. I'm stepping down, stepping aside.
For everything that we have done wrong in our lives, that you begin to heal us, Lord.
And then once again, I was disappointed by the people here when they went up to give this guy a hug during their prayers. I'm just gonna say it, I don't think there's any power in forgiving someone like that man. That guy is a fucking monster. This went on for years, and it started when she was underage, and it was covered up. There's no power, and there's nothing righteous about forgiving an actual piece of shit like that. So the fact that after they learned all this information, after everything that was talked about during the service from the victim as well as her partner, after all of that, they still go up there and embrace him and seemingly forgive him, I guess, if the body language is anything to go off of. Just a horde of people go up there to give a giant group hug in the showers here, all up there huddled around each other like they're trying to recover a fucking fumble in football, all around that guy, who is a bad guy and doesn't deserve the forgiveness. Anyway, this video just made me upset. I wanted to talk about it, and that's really about it. So yeah.